The ending of Squid Game after 3 seasons. A haunting, reflective, and brutal conclusion. Warning: this article contains full spoilers for the ending of Squid Game Season 3. If you haven't watched the series, we strongly recommend stopping here to avoid ruining the experience. Since its groundbreaking debut in 2021, Squid Game has redefined television, blending visceral survival horror with a searing critique of capitalism, inequality, and the human condition. Created by Hwang Dong-hyuk, the South Korean series concluded its 3-season arc on June 27, 2025, delivering a finale that is as emotionally devastating as it is intellectually provocative. Over 9 total episodes across 3 seasons, Squid Game evolved from a high-stakes death game into a profound exploration of morality, sacrifice, and the cyclical nature of greed. This comprehensive article dives deep into how Squid Game ends, detailing the fates of key characters, the brutal new games of Season 3, the thematic weight of the conclusion, and the implications for the series' legacy and potential future. With spoilers aplenty, we unravel the journey of Seong Gi-hun, the enigmatic frontman, the tragic arc of new players, and the haunting world of the games, offering an exhaustive look at one of television's most impactful finales. Setting the stage. Gi-hun's descent into darkness. The 3rd season of Squid Game opens in the aftermath of Season 2's devastating climax, where Seong Gi-hun, Lee Jung-jae, Player 456, and the reluctant winner of the first games, saw his attempt to dismantle the sinister organization behind the game's collapse. The death of his childhood friend Jung-bae, Lee Seo-hwan, killed during a failed rebellion, and the betrayal of a trusted ally revealed to be the frontman, Inho, Lee Byung-hun, have left Gi-hun at his breaking point. Physically battered from the rebellion's failure and emotionally shattered by loss, Gi-hun is no longer a voluntary infiltrator but a prisoner, forced back into the games he swore to destroy. Season 3, spanning 6 gripping episodes, centers on Gi-hun's transformation. Once an optimistic everyman who clung to the belief in human goodness, he is now consumed by rage, guilt, and a desperate resolve to end the games. The frontman, revealed in Season 2 as Junho's estranged brother, serves as Gi-hun's philosophical adversary, taunting him with the cynical view that humanity's greed and selfishness make the games inevitable. Inho argues that the players, driven by desperation, will always choose survival over solidarity, a perspective that challenges Gi-hun's fading idealism. The season introduces a new ensemble of players, each with their own tragic backstories, while bringing back familiar figures like Detective Junho, Jun, who continues his obsessive quest to locate his brother and expose the game's organizers. The narrative delves deeper into the psychological toll of the games, exploring themes of vengeance, redemption, and the struggle to retain humanity in a system designed to strip it away. Gi-hun's journey is marked by moral ambiguity as he grapples with whether he can destroy the games without losing himself. The season also expands the scope of the games, hinting at their global reach and the untouchable power of the VIPs, the shadowy elite who orchestrate the carnage for their amusement. Through flashbacks and subtle clues, we learn more about the game's origins, their expansion beyond South Korea, and the insidious mechanisms that keep them running, setting the stage for a finale that is both personal and universal in its stakes. The new games, a gauntlet of brutality and despair. Season 3 introduces 3 new games, each more sadistic and psychologically taxing than those of previous seasons. These games are not only tests of physical endurance, but also cruel experiments in human behavior, forcing players to confront their darkest impulses. The rules are designed to maximize distrust, betrayal, and violence, reflecting the series' core critique of a world where survival often comes at the expense of others. Each game is meticulously crafted to push the players and the audience to their emotional and ethical limits, with the production design, from the stark, neon-lit arenas to the eerie masks of the guards, amplifying the sense of dread. Game 1. Hide and Seek. The first game, a twisted version of hide-and-seek, sets the tone for Season 3's unrelenting brutality. Players are divided into two teams: Reds, armed with knives and tasked with hunting, and Blues, who must find keys to unlock safe zones while evading capture. The game takes place in a labyrinthine arena filled with narrow corridors, hidden traps, and dead ends, creating a claustrophobic atmosphere of paranoia and chaos. The rules incentivize betrayal, as players can steal keys from their own teammates, ensuring that trust is a luxury no one can afford. Gi-hun, assigned to the red team, finds himself pitted against Dae-ho, player 388, a former Marine who was part of the failed rebellion in Season 2. Dae-ho, once an ally, has become hardened by the games, willing to kill to survive. In a moment of raw fury, Gi-hun kills Dae-ho during a confrontation over a key, stabbing him in a fit of rage fueled by Jung-bai's death. This act marks a dark turning point as Gi-hun, haunted by his actions, begins to question whether he's becoming the monster he sought to defeat. The scene is shot with visceral intensity, with close-ups of Gi-hun's trembling hands and Dae-ho's lifeless eyes, underscoring the toll of violence on his psyche. Other notable casualties include the Shaman, player 044, a spiritual figure who attempts to rally the players with prayers and rituals, only to be betrayed by his own team, who see his leadership as a liability. Hyun-ju, player 120, a young woman with a tragic backstory of poverty and loss, sacrifices herself to protect Junho, Jo Yuri, a pregnant player who becomes a central figure in the season. Junho's harrowing experience giving birth during hide-and-seek, under the watchful eyes of the masked guards and the jeering VIPs in their gold animal masks, is one of the season's most unforgettable moments. The birth, set against the backdrop of bloodshed, highlights the collision of life and death in this hellish environment, with the baby's cries echoing through the arena as a stark reminder of innocence amid horror. Game 2. Jump Rope. The second game, Jump Rope, pushes the player's physical and emotional limits to new extremes. Groups of players are tethered together in teams of 5, forced to jump in unison over a massive mechanically operated rope that accelerates with each round. The arena is a stark circular platform suspended over a pit lined with spikes, ensuring that failure results in a gruesome death for the entire team. The game tests coordination and trust, qualities in short supply among the desperate players who are constantly reminded of the massive cash prize awaiting the winner. Nam-gyu, player 124, a compassionate figure who tried to foster unity among the players, is among the casualties. His death a stark reminder of the game's ability to crush even the most hopeful spirits. Nam-gyu's backstory, revealed through flashbacks, shows him as a factory worker who lost everything to corporate downsizing, making his death all the more tragic. Junho, now caring for her newborn daughter, suffers a severe ankle injury during Jump Rope when her team stumbles, rendering her vulnerable for the remainder of the season. Her struggle to protect her child while navigating the games adds a layer of emotional weight as she becomes a symbol of maternal sacrifice. The game's relentless pace and high stakes eliminate many players, reducing the field to a handful of survivors, including Gi-hun, Junho, and Myung-gi, player 333, the baby's father. The jump rope sequence is a masterclass in tension, with the rhythmic thumping of the rope and the player's labored breathing creating a claustrophobic soundscape. The cinematography, with sweeping aerial shots of the platform and tight close-ups of sweating faces, amplifies the stakes, while the VIP's detached commentary, delivered via intercom in multiple languages, underscores their callous amusement. Game 3. Sky Squid Game. The final game, Sky Squid Game, is the season's most visually striking and emotionally devastating challenge. Players must cross a series of 3 towering platforms, each shaped like one of the series' iconic symbols: a square, a triangle, and a circle. The platforms are connected by narrow, unstable bridges, and the entire structure is suspended hundreds of feet above the ground with no safety nets below. The rules are simple but brutal. Each round requires at least one player to be pushed off the platform to their death, ensuring that survival comes at the cost of another's life. The game's elevated setting amplifies the tension, mirroring the precariousness of the player's existence and the high stakes of their choices. By this point, Junho has succumbed to her injuries from jump rope, dying in a heartbreaking scene where she begs Gi-hun to protect her newborn daughter, designated as Player 222 by the game's organizers. The VIP's decision to make the baby a player, complete with a tiny numbered jumpsuit, sparks outrage among the remaining contestants who see the child as a threat to their share of the prize money. This twisted choice underscores the game's perverse logic, reducing even an innocent infant to a commodity in the eyes of the organizers. The surviving players, including Gi-hun, Myung-gi, and a few others, are forced to navigate the moral quagmire of whether to protect the baby or prioritize their own survival. The final round of Squid Game pits Gi-hun against Myung-gi and the baby, setting the stage for the season's climactic showdown. The game's design, with its stark geometric shapes and vertiginous heights, is a visual callback to the series' iconic aesthetic, while the rules force the players into a direct confrontation with their own morality. Guhans Ultimate Sacrifice and the Unexpected Winner. The climax of Squid Game is a heart-wrenching echo of the Season 1 finale, where Gi-hun faced off against his friend Sang-woo in the titular Squid Game. With only Gi-hun, Myung-gi, and the baby remaining, the rules demand a single winner. Myung-gi, driven by desperation and greed, turns on Gi-hun and even threatens his own daughter, seeing her as an obstacle to the prize. His arc, revealed through flashbacks, shows a man broken by financial ruin and societal pressure, making his descent into selfishness a tragic but believable evolution. In a chaotic struggle on the final platform, Myung-gi slips and falls to his death, his body plummeting into the void below in a moment that is both shocking and inevitable. This leaves Gi-hun and the baby as the last survivors. Faced with an impossible choice, save himself or the child, Gi-hun reflects on his journey. The games have taken everything from him, his friend, his hope, and his sense of self. Yet in this moment, he finds clarity. Choosing to honor his promise to Junho, Gi-hun sacrifices himself, stepping off the platform to ensure the baby, Player 222, is declared the winner. His death is a powerful act of redemption, reaffirming his belief in humanity's capacity for selflessness, even in the face of overwhelming cruelty. The scene is shot with haunting simplicity, with Gi-hun's final moments accompanied by a soft, mournful version of the series theme, Way Back Then, as he looks at the baby one last time before letting go. Hwang Dong-hyuk, in a post-finale interview, described Guhans Sacrifice as the culmination of his arc. Gi-hun's journey was always about rediscovering his humanity. In the end, he chooses to protect an innocent life, proving that even in a world designed to break us, we can still choose to be good. The baby's victory, while symbolic, is bittersweet. The infant, unaware of the horrors she's endured, becomes the sole beneficiary of the massive cash prize. But her survival raises questions about what kind of life awaits her in a world corrupted by the same forces that created the games. The image of the tiny Player 222, swaddled in a green jumpsuit being carried away by masked guards, is one of the series' most haunting visuals, encapsulating the perverse absurdity of the games. The frontman, Junho, and the game's global reach parallel to Gi-hun's story, Detective Hwang Junho's arc reaches a critical juncture. After years of searching for his brother Inho, Junho finally locates the island where the games are held, infiltrating the facility during the final moments of Squid Game. His journey, which began in Season 1 with his investigation into the game's disappearance of his brother, has been one of relentless determination, marked by near-death experiences and moments of despair. In Season 3, Junho's pursuit is complicated by his discovery of Inho's role as the frontman, a revelation that shatters his hope of reuniting his family. Junho's infiltration of the island is a tense, action-packed sequence, with the detective navigating the labyrinthine facility while evading guards and traps. He arrives just in time to witness Guhans Sacrifice, but he is too late to confront Inho. The front man, ever elusive, escapes with the baby, leaving Junho with a fleeting glimpse of his brother and no resolution. This moment underscores the tragic divide between the brothers, with Inho fully committed to the game's twisted ideology and Junho clinging to a fading sense of justice. The scene is a masterclass in emotional restraint, with Lee Ha-jun's performance conveying Junho's anguish without a single word. In a surprising epilogue, Inho delivers the prize money to Gi-hun's daughter, Ga-young, fulfilling a promise Gi-hun made to provide for his family. The gesture, while seemingly compassionate, is tinged with irony, as it perpetuates the cycle of wealth and suffering that Gi-hun fought against. Ga-young's receipt of the money, shown in a quiet scene where she sits alone in her modest apartment, offers a glimmer of closure for Gi-hun's arc, though her expression suggests uncertainty about what this blood-soaked fortune means for her future. The season's final scene takes place in Los Angeles, where Inho observes a mysterious recruiter, played by Cate Blanchett in a chilling cameo, playing Dokji in a dark alley, a nod to the game used to lure players in Season 1. The recruiter, dressed in an elegant suit and exuding an air of menace, flips the red and blue paper tile with practiced ease, her piercing gaze suggesting she's scouting for new players. This moment, combined with rumors of a potential US-based spin-off directed by David Fincher, suggests the games are a global enterprise far beyond the scope of Gi-hun's rebellion. The scene is deliberately ambiguous, leaving viewers to wonder whether the games will continue indefinitely, a chilling reminder of their insidious reach. The fates of other key characters. No Yul, Park Gyu-young. The North Korean defector and former guard introduced in Season 2 continues her search for her missing daughter. In Season 3, she forms an alliance with player 246, a kind-hearted player who helps her survive hide and seek. The two escape the island during the chaos of the final game, but No Yul's search for her daughter remains unresolved, leaving her story open-ended and tragic. The VIPs. The masked elite, who watch the games from a luxurious viewing room, remain untouchable, their identities and motives shrouded in mystery. Their presence, marked by their gold animal masks and multilingual banter, reinforces the series' critique of unchecked power and privilege. Ga-young. Gi-hun's daughter, briefly seen in earlier seasons, receives the prize money in the epilogue, offering a bittersweet closure to Gi-hun's arc. Her future, however, remains uncertain, as the money comes with the weight of her father's sacrifice. Other players. Characters like the shaman, Hyunju, Namgyu, and Daiho meet tragic ends, their deaths highlighting the game's relentless toll. The shaman's betrayal, Hyunju's sacrifice, Namgyu's failed leadership, and Daiho's descent into violence each serve as microcosms of the series' themes. Thematic reflections: hope, despair, and the human condition. Squid Game's ending is a masterclass in balancing despair and hope, offering a conclusion that is both devastating and uplifting. Guhans Sacrifice is a defiant rejection of the game's dehumanizing logic, proving that selflessness can endure even in the darkest circumstances. The baby's victory as player 222 symbolizes a fragile hope for a better future. But the game's continuation, hinted at by the Dokji scene, suggests that systemic corruption is far harder to dismantle. The series critiques capitalism's ability to commodify everything, from human lives to an infant's innocence, while celebrating individual acts of resistance. Hwang Dong-hyuk has described the finale as a reflection of the world's inequalities, noting, "The games are a mirror of our society, where the desperate are pitted against each other for the amusement of the powerful. Gi-hun's choice is a reminder that we can still choose humanity, even when the system pushes us to cruelty." The season's visual language reinforces this, with the stark contrast between the bright, colorful game arenas and the players' blood-soaked struggles highlighting the absurdity of their plight. The recurring motif of childhood games, hide and seek, jump rope, and the Squid Game itself, serves as a chilling reminder of how innocence is corrupted by greed and power. The series also explores the psychological toll of survival, with Gi-hun's arc embodying the struggle to retain empathy in a world that rewards selfishness. His interactions with Junho, the baby, and even the frontman reveal the tension between hope and despair as he fights to believe in humanity despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. The baby's survival, while a triumph, raises uncomfortable questions about the cost of victory and the kind of world she will inherit. The legacy of Squid Game and what lies ahead. Squid Game's conclusion feels definitive for Gi-hun's story, yet the open-ended epilogue opens the door for future explorations. Cate Blanchett's cameo as the Detective recruiter, combined with hints of a global network of games, has sparked speculation about spin-offs, with reports indicating Netflix may be developing a US-based series. Whether these projects materialize, the original series leaves an indelible mark, forcing viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about inequality, morality, and survival. The finale's emotional weight, driven by Guhans Sacrifice and the haunting image of a baby as the winner, ensures Squid Game will be remembered as a cultural touchstone. Its blend of visceral thrills, social commentary, and unforgettable characters cements its place as one of television's greatest achievements. The series challenges viewers to reflect on their own choices in a world where desperation often outweighs compassion, leaving a legacy that will resonate for years to come. Expanding the analysis. Character arcs, symbolism, and cultural impact. To fully appreciate the ending of Squid Game, it's worth delving deeper into the character arcs, symbolism, and cultural impact that define the series' conclusion. Below, we explore these elements in detail, expanding on the themes and moments that make Season 3's finale so unforgettable. Gi-hun's arc. From everyman to martyr, Gi-hun's journey across 3 seasons is one of the most compelling character arcs in modern television. In Season 1, he was a flawed but relatable everyman, a down-on-his-luck gambler struggling to provide for his daughter. His victory in the games came at a profound cost, leaving him haunted by the deaths of Sang-woo, Se-byuk, and others. Season 2 saw him attempt to take down the games, only to be outmaneuvered by the frontman and betrayed by his own allies. By Season 3, Gi-hun is a shadow of his former self, his optimism replaced by a burning need for justice. His decision to kill Junho in hide and seek marks a low point, as he confronts the possibility that the games have corrupted him. Yet his interactions with Junho and her baby rekindle his sense of purpose. The baby in particular becomes a symbol of the innocence Gi-hun fights to protect, a reminder of the daughter he left behind. His final sacrifice is not just a rejection of the games, but a reclamation of his humanity, a moment that resonates with the series' core question: can we remain good in a world that rewards cruelty? The Frontman and Junho, a tragic sibling rivalry. The dynamic between Inho and Junho is one of the series' most tragic elements. Inho, once a police officer like his brother, was drawn into the games as a player, eventually becoming the frontman after winning. His transformation into a cold, calculating enforcer reflects the game's ability to corrupt even the most principled individuals. Season 3 delves into his backstory through flashbacks, revealing his descent into cynicism after witnessing the desperation of his fellow players. Inho's belief that humanity is inherently selfish drives his actions, making him a chilling antagonist who sees himself as a realist rather than a villain. Junho, by contrast, represents unrelenting hope, refusing to give up on his brother despite overwhelming odds. His infiltration of the island is a testament to his determination, but his failure to confront Inho leaves their story unresolved. The brothers' parallel arcs, Inho's embrace of the game's ideology and Junho's rejection of it, mirror the broader conflict between despair and resistance that defines the series. Junho and the baby, symbols of sacrifice and hope. Junho's arc is one of Season 3's emotional anchors. Introduced as a pregnant woman driven to the games by poverty, she embodies the desperation that fuels the competition. Her decision to give birth during hide-and-seek despite the danger is an act of defiance, a refusal to let the games strip her of her humanity. Her death in jump rope is devastating, but her legacy lives on through her daughter, Player 222. The baby's designation as a player is one of the series' most shocking twists, highlighting the game's perverse logic. Her survival, thanks to Guhans Sacrifice, represents a glimmer of hope, but it comes with a dark question. What kind of future awaits a child born into such a world? The baby's victory is both a triumph and a tragedy, encapsulating the series' complex view of human nature. Symbolism and visual language. Squid Game's visual language is integral to its storytelling, and Season 3 takes this to new heights. The geometric shapes of the Sky Squid Game platforms, square, triangle, circle, echo the series' recurring motifs, symbolizing order and control in a chaotic world. The bright, primary colors of the arenas contrast sharply with the bloodshed, creating a sense of surreal absurdity. The masks of the guards and VIPs, with their animalistic designs, reinforce the dehumanization of both players and spectators, while the Dokji game in the epilogue serves as a chilling reminder of the cycle of exploitation. The games themselves are metaphors for societal structures, with hide-and-seek representing the hunt for survival in a predatory world, jump rope symbolizing the fragility of collective effort, and Sky Squid Game embodying the impossible choices forced upon the marginalized. These layers of symbolism deepen the series' critique of capitalism, making the finale not just a narrative conclusion, but a philosophical statement. Cultural impact and legacy. Squid Game's impact extends far beyond its narrative, reshaping the global television landscape. The series' success in 2021 sparked a wave of interest in South Korean storytelling, paving the way for shows like Parasite and All of Us Are Dead. Its critique of capitalism resonated with audiences worldwide, particularly in the wake of economic uncertainty and growing inequality. The finale, with its focus on sacrifice and systemic corruption, amplifies this message, challenging viewers to reflect on their own complicity in unequal systems. The series' cultural footprint is evident in its memes, merchandise, and real-world recreations, minus the violence, as well as its influence on discussions about wealth disparity and social justice. The possibility of spin-offs, hinted at by the Los Angeles epilogue, suggests that Squid Game's universe may continue to expand, but the original series stands as a complete and powerful statement.